Hey, John.
Hey,
Another
Eric.
night.
Wednesday night. Wednesday night.
Correct night this week.
It is. It is. Yeah. Another normal COVID week. Every night at home. Every night at home. No.
Although I wonder what happens to us this Friday, because Washington County is moving back from the medium risk category to the high risk category. So I don't know if that means restaurants. I think my boy said restaurants go from 50% to 25% capacity. I think.
I had not even heard that yet. So thanks, bearer of bad news.
Yeah, you're welcome. Apparently we are our 7-day moving average bumped at the dividing line, and so hopefully it'll just be like a couple weeks in the high, and then we can move back down.
It's crazy. It's crazy because there's so many more people vaccinated at this point, but I guess not enough yet. Not enough yet. Everybody go get vaccinated.
Yeah, I finally was able to get my appointment.
Congratulations.
For next Friday. So next Friday, I will have magic Pfizer juice in me. Magic
Pfizer juice. Nice. Good. Everybody needs it.
So on Monday, this past Monday, in the state of Oregon, they opened up vaccine appointments to anybody that wanted them. And at 9 a.m. every morning at 9 a.m., they open up their next block of appointments they have available. And so it's like trying to get concert tickets or, order, the PlayStation, on launch day, hitting refresh. I got through a couple times these last couple days. And when I get to actually choose the appointment, I said, oh, they're all gone. And this afternoon, my wife
need a
came
Grease
down.
Monkey script is what you need.
Yeah, exactly. This afternoon, my wife came down and said, hey, there are some open appointments that I can see at the Hillsborough Stadium. Because her appointment is out at the airport, the Portland Airport, PDX, which is on the exact opposite side of town.
It's a bit of a hike.
It's a bit of a ways away. So she wanted to swap hers from there to one of these. And I said, well, we should pick times together. So we both went through all the steps together. I got it. Hers, she didn't get it.
Oh, no.
So she still will go to the airport, the day before me to do that. But
it's worth the drive. It's worth the drive.
Yeah. So I got it, and she was a little bummed because, I came down to help you and you got it and I didn't. This was all for me. No, it's all good.
That's funny. Yeah. My wife and I actually, we did a similar thing, but she was the one that I wanted to make sure got it first. So we had her click the go button, first, and then as soon as she had a reservation, I had done all this stuff up to that point too, and so I then clicked go, and we got the same time slot, which was really handy. So yeah, we got our first last week, and then, or maybe a week and a half ago now at this point, and then second one will be next Monday night. So next Tuesday morning for work, I may be
maybe a little slow.
I may be a little sluggish. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's exciting.
My oldest got hers second shot yesterday, and she mentioned, I had restless sleep and I feel a little tired in the morning, but other than that, I'm fine. So
that's good.
But she's all set. So
good to hear.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, to add some controversy, I pulled out the Weber grill and used actual fire to grill some burgers. It was very tasty.
Actual fire. Actual fire. Okay.
With something that used to be wood at some point, or some, something natural.
Uh-huh. The
As opposed to
charbroil
something.
briquettes, natural.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
sure.
But it was very tasty. I mean, it was a
You keep
beautiful
telling
weekend.
yourself that.
It was a beautiful weekend.
It was a crazy beautiful weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so the controversy there is that I don't dispute that, like, would you say actual fire, like briquette, like they're great. They're awesome. I love cooking over a campfire, real fire. We've got lots of, cast iron, Dutch ovens and pans and stuff that we use to cook when we're camping and stuff. But that does not mean that it is not a reasonable substitute and effort, benefit per unit effort to walk out on the deck, fire up the gas grill, and throw on some burgers and hot dogs.
If I can do it in my kitchen, it's not grilling.
Disagree. That's okay. But anyway, did I fire? Yeah, I cooked burgers last night. And I have to say they were really tasty. And I'm like, I don't know. Once you get through the A1 sauce, I'm not sure you'd taste any of the other smoke and stuff. So anyway, I like A1 on burgers. A1, yeah. I put A1 and I put those French's crunchy onions on them. I like anyway. It's good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Another thing I did, this wasn't actually the weekend, this was last night, but I think I mentioned last week how we are getting some traffic calming stuff for the city because or maybe I didn't mention on the podcast.
I don't remember.
The roads around our house, there is excessive speeding.
You need a life coach.
And
do some breathing exercises.
Yeah. And I, coming out of our driveway is a slide up it. Well, you've been in my driveway or in my cul-de-sac. It's kind of a double blind corner because of the way the road bends and people go very fast. And it's more than once I've had to slam on the brakes trying to pull out because someone going 40 miles an hour is zipping around the corner and I don't see him. But anyway, so we got approved by the city to have some traffic calming devices added. And so there was a city meeting a few weeks ago. I might have talked about it, where the city presented what the options are. And then in May, we have the meeting where the city has now come out, done all the analysis, and going to propose what they think would work for our area. And I had a couple of the community liaison groups that meet together. They meet with like the local rec association and the police department and schools. And they just talk about, what's going on in our neighborhoods and communities. And so they invited me to come and talk about traffic calming and how it worked in our area and if they could improve the process and whatnot. So I have never really been a civic kind of person. I've never, gone to, city council meetings unless it was for some activity for like Boy Scouts with my boy when he was doing the Boy Scout thing or things like that. So it was kind of fun to kind of share an opinion. And
so did you do a PowerPoint presentation or just stand up and talk?
No, it was all Zoom. It was just my face, and the group asked some questions about, how was the process? Because there's other groups in the neighborhoods that are looking to do the same thing. And, and then the city was also there saying, what can we improve? Well, you guys don't, for example, the city does not actually, anywhere that I could tell, give the criteria for which you need to have occur to make traffic calming a potential option in your area. For example, they have to do a 6-month study of speed in your area. And if the average is 85% of the drivers are over the speed limit by either 5 or 7 miles per hour, then it qualifies. So that's a pretty high bar.
That's a super high bar.
But the road outside...
And yours did.
Yeah, and ours did. The road outside is posted at 25 miles an hour, and I think they said the average speed was 33.
Huh.
So it's like, yeah, you guys qualify that way. And then if there's accidents, and there's a few other things in their criteria, which were kind of nobody, there's no place where it goes, here's the criteria. So a bunch of different efforts for traffic calming in other neighborhoods had failed, and they didn't really know why. It kind of went into a black hole. And so anyways.
Cool.
How was your weekend?
That's cool. My weekend wound up being pretty long. I wound up taking Monday off, so I wound up with a 3-day weekend. So I did a bunch of gardening stuff on Saturday, a bunch of bee stuff on Sunday, and then Monday when this is where there's a bit longer. So like 2 summers ago. But I have a bunch of fencing that I need to put up, and I've been working on it for a couple of years. And
we've talked about it on the podcast. I'm pretty sure I've teased you about it.
I didn't do hardly anything last summer because my wife had kind of injured her arm, her elbow, and really it's a 2-person job mostly. And anyway, so. We're looking this spring and so the fence is like half done, and a half done fence it provides about zero value. I mean, it's not quite. We've got like this like temporary tape fence up for the rest of it. So I mean it sort of works, but it's nothing that you would put a goat into, because goats can get out of anything. Anyway, goats are very pesty. So the
escape artists.
They are, oh my gosh, they are such a pain. They're so cute, but oh my gosh, they are mischievous. So anyway, one of the things that my wife and I were thinking of doing this, we're planning on it at this point, is like, so let's call somebody and find out how much would it cost to have them do the fence. And, because it turns out about half, maybe even a little more than half of the cost is the materials. And the materials are the same regardless. Mm-hmm. And so then you're just not talking about that much more money. It's still a lot of money, but not that much more money. And we had a guy come out and showed him the fence we'd done. And he's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, I can do this. But, they have like a fence post pounder. I don't know what you call it. Because I have a auger. And so we would go dig a hole, put some cement in, but they have this pounder that they just put the fence where they want it, and then like have a huge weight on a boom that they just boom, 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 and sink it. So everyone gets sunk to the exact right height, because that's where the machine's set, and they just they lay them all out, stand up the post, in. So we're like, remember, this took me, well, let's call it all summer, because it was the summer of 2019 that I did about 1,500 feet of fence. And this is about 1,600 feet. And we're like, so how long did that take? He's like, well, think about 2 weekends. And we're like, yeah, done. But in order to keep the costs down, I'm basically providing all the materials. And so he said, well, don't buy those posts that you've been buying. Those are not as well treated. If you want to get the good posts, and they're actually cheaper too, but like go to this guy and, give him a call. He's an old guy. He's crotchety. He won't answer his phone, but, text him. He'll respond eventually.
He's an old guy. He's crotchety.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. And so the next weekend, I called him up and said, hey, it's like a 2-hour drive from here, maybe a little over 2 hours, 15 minutes. Right. And so I called him up and I'm like, it was Saturday. I'm like, hey, can I come down and pick up 2 things? Didn't call me back. Called me back on Monday, or left me a message on Monday. and said, I'm only open Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 10 to 4. Okay? So I texted him back a little bit and asked if he had the parts that I wanted and blah, blah, blah. And then, so it turned out my kids were off school this past Monday for different reasons because they go to different schools. But so I was like, all right, so I'm going to take Monday off and we're going to drive down and we're going to load it up because I have a flatbed and, you know, you can just load it up with a forklift. And so it was 70 poles of the 5-inch and then, 70 of the 4-inch and 50 of the 5-inch were in a bundle. And that, I don't know how much those things weigh, but I'm going to guess it was about 6,000 pounds. And I don't think my trailer's rated for 6,000 pounds. I think it's rated for maybe 5, maybe 4. It was looking like it was a little creaky. So we drove a bit slower on the way back. But as a mean father, I forced my kids to come out of the house and drive with us just so we could go to American Dream Pizza in Corvallis on the way back up, because that was my wife and I used to live there. That's where I got my master's degree from Oregon State. And so we lived, and then I worked for Hewlett Packard there for 5 years in the 90s. And so, I have lots of good memories of Corvallis, and in particular of this pizza place. So anyway, it was 5 hours in the car with a good pizza halfway through, which is not bad. But anyway, that was fun. And that was also too long of a story. Sorry.
Well, you're editing this week, so
my edit. It's all good.
Cut whatever you feel like.
Oh, all right. Well, we should talk about something that's not fence posts.
Bees.
Bees. I love bees. Oh yeah, but no,
Sorry.
I'm intentionally not talking bees on the podcast. Come on, I need to do a bee podcast if that's what I'm.
All right. So
okay.
I don't have any follow up.
Okay. No follow up. No follow up.
How's that for a segue? But I did want to chat about 2 articles. There's one which was thrown in our Slack by JR about the Biden administration. Just read the title. The Biden administration takes bold action to protect electricity operations from increasing cyber threats. Which, as a headline, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I can imagine that our energy, or it is proven that energy grids can be disrupted by cyber attacks, and that can be painful.
One of my favorite speeches, I guess, guest speakers at the McAfee conference a couple of years ago was Ted Koppel, when he had written the book Lights Out about the energy grid vulnerabilities. So yeah. he was a great speaker, and it was very, very good. And it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Action is very slow when it comes to utilities.
Or government in general.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so some of the things in this would just link to the article, but it calls out some ways to modernize the energy industry's cybersecurity defenses. So it's more like some recommendations to kind of get started, but at least they're trying to do something. It uses words like encourage owners and operators to implement measures or technology to enhance detection, mitigation, and forensic capabilities. Milestones over the next 100 days for owners and operators to identify and deploy technologies and systems that enable near real-time situational awareness. Reinforce and enhance cybersecurity posture. Includes a voluntary industry effort to deploy technologies and increase visibility of threats in ICS and OT operational technology systems. So, yay on the government for taking some action here.
This is a target-rich environment for improvements.
Uh-huh.
So, Well, I'm curious to get to the, like, what are the actual outcomes? That would be very, very good to kind of follow up on and see what happens over the course of the 100 days. And, you know, I guess you'd think grid operators. I'm thinking of the Texas freeze that happened, just a couple of months ago, where it wasn't. That wasn't a cybersecurity thing, and they're cost cutting enough to not pay attention to, temperature controls on natural gas infrastructure. Right. So, what's the incentives or punishments if they don't? Which I guess is just another type of incentive to improve and clean up their act. So,
yeah, we'll see.
Color
what comes out of this. Skeptical,
but we're all. This is we're swimming in this sea, so we don't we kind of want them to take care of it. So, let's see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and then my second article is an IoT article, which it comes from the UK actually, and it is an effort to actually put into law, as opposed to currently it is just recommendations for device manufacturers of IoT devices, smartphones, etc., to supply security updates, etc. So one of the things I liked about this is the UK government's Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport has announced the need for IoT devices to be secure by design. Then it will become law. So previously it had been proposed, but it was just adopted as recommendations. But under the planned new laws, customers must be informed at the point of sale as to the length of time for which the smart device will receive security software updates, in a move designed to encourage people to buy devices that are going to receive security patches for a longer time, making them more resilient to cyber threats, which is a great thing. And I think probably 2 years ago we talked about this, that you buy a light bulb and no one's patching it. Yeah, there's no incentives to patch it. The incentive is to make it as cheap as possible. And if consumers now choose, the $5 light bulb instead of the $4 light bulb, because the $5 light bulb has a 5-year warranty or a 4-year warranty on cybersecurity updates or security patches, where the other one doesn't, hopefully that will incentivize companies to start focusing more on these type of things. So
it's the sort of thing that you need or you could do something similar to the Energy Star. When you go and buy an appliance, Energy Star tries to rank things based on the, like the annual energy consumption, instead of to get a number up there that's more than just the price. And you can look at, for $20 more now, I'll save $100 a year, or whatever the trade-off is.
And then the article follows up with a quote from the National Cybersecurity Center. Consumers are increasingly reliant on connected products at home and at work. The COVID-19 pandemic has only accelerated this trend. While manufacturers of these devices are improving security practices gradually, it is not yet good enough. To protect consumers and build trust across the sector, it is vital that manufacturers take responsibility and pay attention to these proposals now, because they're going to become law. And once something like this becomes law in a big enough country to, move the market, this probably rolls out in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good on.
No, that's awesome.
Good on the UK for that. So, we'll link to that article as well.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, that's cool. All right, what was mine? I think I also did 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm finding.
I think there's a pattern here. I do some of the fluffy ones, and you do some of the deep ones. I think.
Well, this first one's not very fluffy. Actually, no, both of mine are pretty fluffy. You know, I've got my long article today is one of my something fun articles. Sorry,
All right.
it is.
So
an
your something
internal
fun
article.
is deep.
I don't know if I wouldn't say it's deep. It's about ice cream. So okay.
Oh.
Anyway, foreshadowing. Okay. First topic. My first topic is this. That's an article on the record. So I assume this is Catalan. Where's the? Yes, Catalan. Okay. So this is about Code Cov. I assume that stands for code coverage. So Code Cov, a software company. I'm reading the first paragraph here. A software company that provides code testing and code statistics solutions disclosed on Thursday a major security breach after a threat actor managed to breach its platform and add a credential harvester to one of its tools. So somebody got in and basically, let's see, they said because of an error in CodeCov's Docker image creation process, it allowed the actor to extract the credential required to modify our bash uploader script. So, I didn't see the actual true technical details here. Maybe they're in some other, in like CodeCov's post itself, but just the way that's phrased, I'm going to pull out the rampant speculation stick and say that, Docker images all just kind of build on top of each other, right? So if you can go back and, earlier in the stack, you can play games. So this is a supply chain attack in the sense that, they attack a tool and then use that tool to attack the actual customers of that tool. And in this case, they're kind of, there's still a bit of a shoe to drop in the sense of, they've been harvesting credentials, it says, since January 31st. So they harvested credentials for a couple of months. How many of those have they already used? How many of those do they still have? How many of those have been changed, appropriately since this was found out? What the knock-on effects are, I don't think we know yet. Because, it says the attacker gained access to the bash uploader script on January 31st and made periodic changes to add malicious code that would intercept uploads and scan and collect any sensitive information like credentials, tokens, or keys.
Ouch.
CodeCov said it learned of the breach on April 1st and was working with a forensics firm to untangle the attacker's actions. Big firms that are customers are big names like Atlassian, Procter & Gamble, GoDaddy, The Washington Post, Tile, Dollar Shave Club, and Webflow. So there's certainly a few big names there. So they, in the notifications. Oh, so sorry. Before I say that, evidently this script was used in more than just the one product. So it says, quote, a large chunk of the company's customers are most likely affected. Evidently there's other products like the CodeCov Actions uploader for GitHub, Circle CI Orb, don't know what that is, and the Bitrise Step, I don't know what that is either, but CodeCov products.
I did not realize that, it mentions their customer base, which includes some big names. I did not realize Dollar Shave Club was a big name.
They got bought out by
Gillette or one of the big ones,
right? Yeah,
I don't know.
I've seen their commercials on like actual TV at this point, so I don't know.
Huh?
Company size is relative when it comes to companies.
Yeah.
Are they a $1 million company, a $100 million company, a $1 billion company? I don't know. I whatever Gillette paid for them.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the last point on this? I think was just that. So it's. I said this earlier, but it says, "quote: The fallout from this breach will most likely come to light in the following months as the attacker uses the stolen credentials to attack other companies and steal their data."
Ouch.
So we'll see. So that was my first one. My second article. Okay. Did you read this Signal article about Cellebrite today?
I didn't read the whole article. I think I read a few tweets of humorous tweets about it. This
was, at least what I saw today, this was the best article of the day, maybe the week, maybe the year. I saw some tweets that were like, this is the best article of the year. So a little bit of background. So Signal is an app that is a private messaging app, end-to-end encrypted, and prides itself on doing security right.
Mm-hmm.
And largely, there's maybe a few quibbles here and there, but largely okay. So Cellebrite, in fact, I'm going to read this. The first paragraph of the article. Cellebrite makes software to automate physically extracting and indexing data from mobile devices. They exist within the gray, where enterprise branding joins together with the larcenous to be called digital intelligence. Their customer list includes authoritarian regimes in Belarus, Russia, Venezuela, and China, death squads in Bangladesh, military juntas in Myanmar, and those seeking to abuse and oppress in Turkey, United Arab Emirates, and elsewhere. So there's
no punches held.
No punches. Yes, very, very good. So a few months ago, they announced they added Signal support to their software, which basically means, if you have a device and, Cellebrite, you'll take it and try and extract the data, they'll be able to read some of the file formats that Signal uses internally on the device. Because Cellebrite is have the device in hand. So it's the digital intelligence. They use this to try and extract data for forensics, basically. So it's not a remote thing. They have to, have device physically in hand. So
right.
The article goes on to say, one way to think about Cellebrite's products is that if someone is physically holding your unlocked device in their hands, they could open whatever apps they would like and take screenshots of everything in order to save them and go over later. So Cellebrite essentially automates that process for someone holding your device in their hands. So that's kind of the backstory. It's a digital forensics device, but the point of Signal is trying very hard to be a end-to-end secure messaging app done right.
Yep.
So by a truly unbelievable coincidence, I was out recently for a walk when I saw a small package fall off a truck ahead of me. As I got closer, the dull enterprise typeface slowly came into focus. Cellebrite. Inside, we found the latest versions of the Cellebrite software, a hardware dongle designed to prevent piracy, tells you something about their customers, I guess, and a bizarrely large number of cable adapters. There's pictures in the article, and maybe I'll get one to throw in the notes here. But, so essentially, how did they get a hold of the Cellebrite software? I don't know. They fell off a truck. So then this security person goes on to basically reverse engineer Cellebrite.
Mm-hmm.
At least to some extent. So I gotta read this next quote too, sorry. Since almost all of Cellebrite's code exists to parse untrusted input that could be formatted in an unexpected way to exploit memory corruption or other vulnerabilities in the parsing software, one might expect Cellebrite to have been extremely cautious. We were surprised to find that very little care seems to have been given to Cellebrite's own software security. Industry standard exploit mitigation defenses are missing and many opportunities for exploitation are present.
Whoops.
So, for example, they use a library FFmpeg to with some DLLs, but the version that they have built into the software was built in 2012 and hasn't applied any of the more than 100 security updates since 2012 in FFmpeg. So, and there's more, but essentially, so they go on to exploit and basically say, so that means that since the Celebrite file is software is going and opening and parsing files, if you put a file down there that exploits one of the vulnerabilities, you can hack the hacking machine that's attempting to extract the data and,
provide it with whatever data you want.
Provide it exactly. So, in fact, he says, so he has a video of a exploit running, and that just does kind of like a hello world, pops a message box,
right?
API, Windows message box for demonstration purposes. But his quote is, "This is for demonstration purposes. It's possible to execute any code, and a real exploit payload would likely seek to undetectably alter previous reports, compromise the integrity of future reports, perhaps at random, or exfiltrate data from the Celebrite machine."
Oops.
Yeah. So, also, it says also of interest. So they bundle 2 Apple MSI packages, so digitally signed by Apple, that were extracted from the Windows iTunes installer. So they're like, that doesn't seem like they probably have Apple's permission to redistribute that.
They probably don't have a license for those. Yeah.
They
don't have a...
Yeah. Well, in fact, so here's the exact quote. "It seems unlikely to us that Apple granted Celebrite a license to redistribute and incorporate Apple's DLLs in its own product. So this might present a legal risk." And then, there was another great spot where they said, oh yeah. Okay, here it is. "We are, of course, willing to responsibly disclose the specific vulnerabilities we know about to Celebrite if they do the same for all the vulnerabilities they use in their physical extraction and other services to their respective vendors now and in the future." So, because
there you go.
Celebrite essentially uses known defects to try and get and maybe not known defects, 0 days if they can get their hands on them, to extract the data. So telling them that, oh sure, we'll tell you what's going on. Hilarious. And then so the final thing is, I have to read the completely unrelated. That's the title. That's the heading for this particular section. So in completely unrelated news, upcoming versions of Signal will be periodically fetching files to place in app storage. These files are never used for anything inside Signal and never interact with Signal software or data, but they look nice, and aesthetics are important in software. So files will only be returned for accounts that have been in active installs for some time already, and only probabilistically in low percentages based on phone number sharding. We have a few different versions of files we think are aesthetically pleasing, and we'll iterate through those slowly over time. There's no other significance to these files. My gracious sakes. So anyway, this is a hilarious article, I think. But yeah, okay. That's it. That was my other article. You should read the whole thing.
I will have to read through the whole thing.
All right.
My something fun is short and sweet.
All right. Oh yes.
It's
alive.
Mars helicopter successfully test flight. It successfully climbed to 10 feet, hovered for 30 seconds, and then touched back down on Mars. So humans have now successfully flown an unmanned flight on Mars for just shy of 40 seconds.
That was, it looked like it landed pretty hard. Was that just me?
I don't know, because the video obviously is not, well, the fact that we have color video
from Mars,
from Ingenuity cameras staring at the watching the helicopter, the drone, is just insane. So, yay humans, keep it up.
It's pretty cool.
That was very cool. I'm looking forward to future. I'm looking forward to video from the drone itself. I assume they have it.
I saw pictures. I didn't see video. That doesn't mean
maybe it doesn't have video.
But I saw pictures because there was a picture of like straight down from like its own shadow as it was flying.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
That's cool. Okay, that was definitely a highlight of the week. And that's maybe somewhat follow up. Yeah, it's awesome. That's totally awesome. Okay, well, so I'm sorry. I have two something funs. So the first one is a small one and just like a little thing. And so did you know that 2021 is the year of Linux on the desktop?
No, I did not.
I
have not been using Unix on the desktop.
My money would not have been on the way Linux on the desktop gets to market is via Windows. So this article is that Microsoft Windows 10 in the preview is allowing Linux, because they have their Windows subsystem for Linux. Mm-hmm. They're allowing Linux GUI apps.
Of which there's only like 3 total Linux GUI apps. Everything else is the command line terminal.
True. Well, okay, so I will give you that.
I'm being snarky.
Have I ever like? I'm not sure there's 3 good Linux apps. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Everything, nothing's been good ever since said. So
I love Linux. I'm just joking.
I know. But anyway, so they literally, so it says Microsoft automatically starts a companion system distro when you attempt to run a Linux GUI app, and it contains a Wayland, X server, Pulse audio server, and everything else needed to make this work inside Windows. Once you terminate an app in WSL, this special distro ends too. So all the components combine to make it super easy to run Linux GUI apps alongside regular Windows apps. That's awesome. It's magic.
For the 3 people who use Windows, the Linux GUI apps are browsers and browsers. I don't know what are the other Linux GUI apps that people actually use.
Okay, I have not run Linux other than as a server for a long time. But I don't know. So I'll tell you. So funny story. Maybe funny. I don't know. This was back in the late 90s, I guess. One of the things I did in the 90s was I played EverQuest. Mm-hmm. And in the grand spirit of John always has more time to play, but not as much time as he wants to play games, I set up a packet intercept. So I basically routed my network through a Linux box so it could monitor all the EverQuest traffic. And there was a Linux GUI app that I forget what the name of it was, that would track the zones in EverQuest and monitor for rare spawns. So it was basically sniffing all the network traffic. So I could just leave my character sitting on there, and then it would sound an alarm when a rare spawn happened, and I could go and do other things. So because I have important things to do. But that was a Linux Windows app or a Linux GUI app.
Okay,
it was cool. All
right,
that was a long time ago. I have a relatively long history of trying to cheat in games because I don't have time to play.
I am very excited about Ice Cream, though.
Okay, Ice Cream. This is the long one. This is an eternal article, so I can't do the whole thing here. But so this is, they hacked McDonald's ice cream makers and started a Cold War. Very funny.
That's a great header. Great headline.
So this is so So first of all, I'm sure you've heard the meme that all the McDonald's ice cream machines are always broken, right? There's a McDonald's out by us, and I swear every time I go through the drive through to get an ice cream cone, it's down. It drives me insane. There's even I forget the name of the app. They said but they mentioned it in the article here. There's even an app that checks and tries to order ice cream from every McDonald's in the United States about once every 30 minutes, and then tracks, whether the ice cream machines are broken or not. And I think I didn't pull that stat out, but it was something like 16 to 25% of ice cream machines are broken all the time around the United States, at least.
I want a McDonald's ice cream right now.
Right? Right. So this couple, this is a story about...
the website is mcbroken.com. Sorry, I'm scrolling through.
So
sorry.
Okay, there you go. Sorry. So I'm only looking at the notes that I pulled out, not the actual article, which is it's a very, very long article. So these two people, they like 10 years ago or so started trying to figure out, hey, what do they want to do for a business? And they were like, let's do a fully automated frozen yogurt. So basically the Frobot, but it's basically automation around a Taylor machine, which is basically the ice cream machines that are in McDonald's,
right,
and other places. But so they did a whole bunch of work to try and automate it, and they learned a couple things. They learned that there's basically a secret menu in there that has like controls that are not exposed to the actual operators. So, lots of McDonald's franchisees pay retainers to the maintenance on these machines, where they basically just come in, type in, this super secret code, and then they have access to the sort of the special diagnostics and can change lots of stuff right there, as opposed to having to sort of tear the machine apart. So one of the things that this couple built as part of their automation was reverse engineering the monitoring inside, so that they could better track, automated, how their machines were behaving. And then when they sort of realized how much work it was going to be to try and keep these machines running, because they're very fragile and not that well made, they realized that they should pivot their startup and basically turn around and just sell the monitoring device, because just being able to monitor the devices is actually really valuable for McDonald's franchisees who, as they said in there, they have a teenager who's going to learn how to do it for 2 weeks and, might not take the best care. And just being able to get an alarm in the morning that says whether or not your pasteurization process overnight succeeded can, save thousands of dollars a month for these franchisees. And they're like, especially during Shamrock Shake season. Evidently, having your shake machine down during Shamrock Shake season is a bad thing. Anyway, so they turn around. They basically took their monitoring component and tried and basically sold that. And then there's this whole grand story of kind of David and Goliath of what they had a relatively collegial relationship with the Taylor machine manufacturers as they were, building on top of them. Because Taylor initially thought, well, cool, yeah, this would be a great market for us to open up if we could sell these machines, and they're, all over the place unattended. That's a great market. But so they did Taylor and McDonald's did a bunch of work, basically, according to this couple, reverse engineered their, got their product illegally cue back to the Celebrite story, reverse engineered it, and then kind of shut them out. And and McDonald's sent a letter to all franchisees saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do this, and it's danger to your franchise license, and all sorts of really slimy stuff." So, anyway, it's an eternal article about reverse engineering a crappy-ish piece of automated hardware and this racket for basically selling ongoing maintenance for something that is not being improved as it quote unquote should be. So and basically now they're in a legal battle. So
right.
And it's the story of the legal battle. So anyway,
add this to the John Deere tractors and
exactly
the other
right to repair.
Yeah, nice.
Right to repair.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's an eternal article. But a great read. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this whole thing. I've just been kind of skimming as you've been talking, and this looks fun. This looks fun,
right? It's got this is essentially IoT, and it's based around a Raspberry Pi.
It's got all the things I like and ice cream.
And ice cream, exactly, right? Yeah,
all the things I like.
How can you go wrong? How can you go wrong?
Good one. I actually subscribed to Wired and I missed this one somehow.
I don't know how
I just haven't seen it yet. Anyways, that's awesome.
There you go.
All right, dude.
All right. Yep. Let's call it a show. Have a good night. Have a good week.
And
talk to you later.
Check out McBroken.com. The McDonald's down the street from us is broken.
McBroken.com. Oh, I probably should have. Is the McDonald's ice cream machine broken? Would you like to help me keep this website running? Buy me a McFlurry. See, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, dude. Have a good night.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye.